Off to round two. What were your thoughts on last night's game?
Well, I thought it was great. We proved that it was a series. Everybody goes high and low. You guys are all part of the media now and the fans, and they take sides game in, game out. But it's always a series, and I thought they all played pretty well.
You mentioned the highs and lows, and I get caught up in it more than I thought I was going to be in on the media side of things. But from your perspective, what do you think of this team? Do you get caught up in believing them and then see the same old stuff, or are you more level-headed than most people?
No, it's a 7 game series, and it doesn't matter who you're playing or when it is, or that's my take. Nobody's ever playing 4 perfect games and winning every time. That's you know, if your regular season, if you win 4 out of the 7, you win the Stanley Cup every round. So you can have the biggest stinkers you want. Doesn't matter as long as you win the next night. And that's just the way it is. But it's not going to be hyped that way because everybody's got to sell the game. So that's the way it is outside. But in the dressing room, they're all just trying to bring it every night. And some nights it's there, and some nights it's not. And I think last night was one of the ones to bring it again.
Wendel, this number 67 keeps popping up. I mean, Pacioretty scores the first goal of the regular season. He scores the series clinching goal here against the Ottawa Senators. How important is it for guys like this to elevate? I know we could talk a lot until we're blue in the face about the big core 4 guys and the fantastic 5, but the depth guys I think are massive, and Pacioretty I think proving his worth last night, right?
No, it's huge. He's a lot of experience. I love how he's changed his game a little bit, plays physical now, now that he doesn't have to play a lot of minutes. I think he's a great guy that's going to be in and out of the lineup just because of his age. You can bring him in, shock the lineup, take him out, gets rested, bring him back in, and he understands his role. I think he does it to a T right now. And when you can bring guys in for short spurts or play them on short spurts, but they have a skill level with tenacity, they're going to chip in because come playoff time, if you're not playing down the middle, you're not going to get points. That's just the way it is in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Wendel, watching that series against the Sens, is there a name or someone that comes to mind first that was a difference maker?
Well, I think you guys have already talked about it. Knies is just coming into his own. I think he keeps going on the trajectory that he's going. I think that Ruby, the coach, has been the biggest change in his game, getting him to understand how to use his body. He come from Arizona. He's like Austin, so he would have grown up idolizing Austin, and then you watch his game. But then he can bring so much more, and he'll become a better player for himself if he plays just a little bit nastier. And I think that's our coach is really starting to bring that out in him.
Does that give you the feels and the chills when you watch Matthew Knies and think back to your old days in the league, Wendel?
No, I think it's fun. I think it makes a big difference in the game, the tempo in the building. You watch the Washington game that first period and watching Montreal throw the puck away because of the big guy running around, and that really helps change it. And it helps when you can't do it if you're a fourth line guy because you're not on the ice with all the right guys. But if you're a front 1-2 line guy and you get to play that way, you can really make a difference in the game.
Mm-hmm. Have you been watching that Florida series much? And what do you see out of the Panthers? And what do you think's the biggest thing that it's going to take for the Leafs to give this team a run?
I think it's going to be the same thing we've learned a little bit in the Ottawa series, but Florida, being that they've been there 2 years in a row, won the cup last year, they know how to be patient with their style of game, and we have to bring that patience. That nothing may happen for a long time. You got to play hard, and you can't open up to try to get something. And that's usually with veteran teams that have been to the finals or played a lot of rounds. Boston had that for a while. Is they just know how to be patient and keep playing hard in the playoffs, and we have to adapt and learn that quickly to upset a team that's proven that they can be there.
Most definitely. And I think when you look at this series, it's going to get real very, very quickly. Not to take anything away from Ottawa, but they're not the Florida Panthers. When you look at the first round, obviously the big boys take a lot of the heat, and understandably so. How important, how instrumental do you think it was for them to factor in a series deciding game the way they did? I thought they were pretty good last night.
No, I think you always have to have your big guys come in and be a part of it. They are going to get shut down for parts of series. You got to give credit to the other teams checking lines and how they are orchestrated to shut your best players down, and that's where your depth comes into it. basically your goalie never loses the game, but he has to win game, and a goalie has to win you a game in every round. Your best players have to win you a game in every round, and then the third and fourth game are won by the team. Somebody else, a mixture of everything, wins the games. But you almost have to have one game is just strictly your best players find a way to outplay everybody, and one's your goaltender's got to do it when you shouldn't be winning. Then the other two are it's your team that wins it.
Mm-hmm. And this team, this core, has kind of, gotten dragged through the mud a little bit for not having that clutch factor. Obviously, they had her last night and got over the hump and kind of silenced that to a degree. Is that something that guys like that learn as they get more experience, or what is it about a clutch factor that some guys have and some guys struggle with?
Well, I think they have to learn it in a way. They're just there. The great thing about our young guys, or they're not young anymore, they're all 7, 8, 9 years in the league, is they're the right age because they're not old, they're not young, so it's their time. It's their time to prove it and grab it and go and get it, and they're going to learn how to go through stuff, and we don't know if they will or not without going through it. So I think they will. They've done it at other levels, whether it be junior or college or world championships. They've all done it at some level in a small way. It's a little different. It's not a one-off. It's a series. It's 16 games you have to win, and you're going to have bad nights. That's just the part of it, and you're going to get drugged through the mud. That's part of it as well when you get to play in a hockey market. But they're in the 7-game series. As long as you have 4 good ones and 3 bad ones, you win. So it doesn't have to be every single night. You hope and you try to bring it every night, but it's just not going to happen every night.
I like the math on that. And the one thing that really impressed me about the first round was just the calm, cool, and collected nature of Craig Berube. Like you talked about him earlier on, nothing seems to phase the guy. And if it does, he doesn't show it in the media. Can you speak to like how that impacts a player in the room when you see your coach calm like that?
Oh, I think it's great. He's not flustered. He's been there. He's done that. He had that personality as a player and how he played, but also as he's learned, I think, through coaching and then going all the way and winning it. So he really knows he doesn't want to get his players overexcited. So they turn around, look at him and go, he's never phased. And that's a great thing. Doesn't matter what the game looks like or winning or losing. He's got the monotone work-like business. That's what he brings across, and they know what to expect out of him, and so I think he brings that just as solid as a rock type guy back there, and it's very simple. It's simple terms. I've been in the room when he's done some talking to the guys. It's very simple, straight to the point. It's not hard to understand, and I think that's really good because we're all just athletes, whether it's that era or this era. In simple terms, and how do you want me to play? And I think that comes across.
Speaking of eras, Wendel, the one that you played in and the way that you played had an intensity factor that's just you just don't see it anymore. Is it frustrating for you to watch this era of hockey where guys are trying to win something so special, but have trouble getting to an intensity level that you and your era played at?
It can, but it's just a different time. I guess you'd say there's not an intensity. It's just a different way of playing. Kids grow up a lot different ways of playing now. So and you see it basically in players that make it and players that don't make it is they can't adapt or change, and then they blame somebody. In the American League, they can't figure out why they can't get to the next level. Well, the next level is really hard, and if you're a right winger trying out in Washington and the right winger's Ovechkin, you're not going to be the offensive guy there. Nobody's as good as he is. So you have to learn to change your game, and might be playing physical to get in the lineup, or it might be, and you have to learn how to adapt to make it. And that's the one thing I notice in this era of kids. They don't want to adapt to change to make it. Guy Carbonneau had to become the best defensive centerman to make it because he wasn't going to beat out Jacques Lemaire in Montreal. Dougie Gilmour did it in St. Louis as a defensive center to get into the league behind Bernie Federko, and then he changed to offense. But you have to change and adapt, and I find sometimes players today don't want to change how they grew up. And every player, if you're going to make the highest level, you may have to not be the person because there's that many good players in the league.
Wendel, different era, man. I'm astonished to find out there hasn't been one scrap in round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And with that in mind, in support of Sick Kids, David Owens asked the question, ask Wendel, who you like fighting most as a Maple Leaf? Who'd you like fighting most as a Leaf, Wendel?
We never like fighting because you might lose. It's just something that it happens. Usually, if you're a power left winger like I was, you're going to be fighting the right defenseman on the other team because you keep being a pain in the butt to him. And we used to dump it in and go get the same guy all the time. And the guy that I went against, it wasn't fun fighting all the time, but he was a very tough guy, and didn't show it. I wish we had a guy like him on our team now. It was a Bob Rouse. Played right defense in Minnesota. He was in Lethbridge when I played junior, and then he was played with us, and he got so mean and nasty in the playoffs without taking penalties, but could do everything. But he used to just wait. We'd dump the puck in, and he'd stand at the dot, and I go, well, let's go get it. He goes, no, I'll go in the same time you are. I'm not getting hit anymore. And then we'd end up fighting before we even get to the corner because he was going, I'm not going to take it. And so he was a great battler and just knew how to play. And he was one guy that could just turn up the intensity in the playoffs and still play within the rules.
Tough to do. Wendel, last one for me. I need a prediction on what do you think is going to happen in this round 2 series with the Leafs.
No, hopefully I'm not allowed to do predictions other than just have fun. I think if we keep learning how we played and grow off how we started the series, game one was a convincing one, and then how we found a way to win and stay in the series. And if we can learn and grow from that, because it's going to be a tenacious series, they're going to keep coming at us. If we thought this one was tough to watch for 6 games, wait till you watch this round, because of this team you're playing against has been there, done that. So we're going to have to outdo them, and then hopefully we can do it in the 7 games.
But as long as everyone has fun, you're fine.
If it's nasty and fun and ups and downs and everybody's complaining, then happy, it's fun playoff hockey. This is the greatest time of the year with the ups and downs, and that's all what's fun about it.
It's going to be heavy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. Looking forward to it. Before we let you go, you do some awesome work, Wendel, in the community. Lately, it's been with ProStation Canada, the importance of prostate cancer awareness and getting checked. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, it's really just we all have friends and teammates, especially us guys getting older, and we don't like to see doctors unless it's for a 10-second visit. But basically, just telling friends and all the men out there, it's to make sure you're getting checked. And if you do come down with prostate cancer, it's prostationcanada.ca that it can help you move along and deal with it, and what questions to ask your doctor and your friends. And it's a team effort. Remember that. Just sometimes we want to do things alone, but everything is a team effort. You're stronger and life's better. So that's the main thing.
Awesome stuff. Very well said, Wendel. Can't thank you enough for making time today. Enjoy round 2, okay?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.